Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Alan Simberg. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about stress management. So you might be thinking, what does stress have to do with recovery from addiction? Well, in my opinion, it has a lot to do with recovery from addiction because the more stressed you are, the more difficult it can be to remain in your recovery journey. But there's something that's really important for you to know. Stress is not the issue, actually. See, stress is something that you have to adjust to. You have to adapt to it. We are adjusting and adapting to things all the time. We may not notice it or realize it, but we're always adjusting and doing our best to adapt. But when the stress becomes distressful, that's when it can be very difficult to either remain on your recovery journey, or it could also possibly lead to relapse. And then, of course, what could happen is the stress of being in relapse could contribute to even more distress, which could contribute to you staying in that relapse phase in an unnecessary amount of time, in a time that could possibly cause harm. So, how do we manage that distress? Well, before we get into that, another point related to stress and distress is your nervous system. The more distressed you are, the more narrow you're thinking and the more emotional you may be feeling, and the more difficult it might be to have reasonable thoughts. And it can send you in a downward spiral during your recovery journey. But when you're able to manage your nervous system, well, then the stress doesn't have to become distressful, or if it starts to become distressful, you'll be able to manage it before that continues for too long amount of time. So what's the solution? What's the strategy? Well, the strategy is self-care. The more consistent you can be in your self-care, the more relaxed your nervous system could be, or the more relaxed it could become if you start to feel distressed. So, what does it mean? What is self-care? What is that all about? Well, it's eating the healthiest foods possible as consistently as possible. It's getting enough restful sleep. It's managing your thoughts and words. It's getting a massage, doing relaxation, deep breathing exercises, watching a funny movie, enjoying time with friends, thinking about the things that you've accomplished and the things that you have, and having gratitude about the things that you've done and the things that you have. Because when you practice those self-care strategies, you're maintaining or contributing to your ability to maintain the most relaxed nervous system possible, which will then allow you to not only respond instead of react to different situations and experiences you may have, but it also helps you to manage them in the most effective and quickest way possible. Because the more distressed we become, the more difficult it is to think clearly and to identify solutions. The more relaxed we are, the more calm our nervous system is, the easier it is to be able to consider solutions and also act on them. So that's what stress and distress has to do with your recovery from addiction. So, what else can you do to have the most consistent recovery experience possible? Well, in my next video, I'm going to talk about that. And specifically, what I'm going to talk about is how self-discipline and structure can help you to have the most consistently calm nervous system, which can help you to avoid relapse, manage relapse as efficiently and effectively as possible if it should occur, and have much less distress in your life than you might ordinarily have. The last thing that I want to encourage for all of you to do, or maybe I should say not to, is never give up. Please, please don't ever give up. Things may seem difficult at some times. You may have some pretty intense challenges, but do your best to manage them. Don't give up. You can get past them and you can continue progressing in your recovery journey.